Chapter 3071. How dare he be so arrogant after the ice mountain is destroyed? 2 SSS. Around the graveyard of the Gemini god emperors, over 1,000 disciples from Willow Deity Dojo gasped when they heard Wang Xian's words. They stared at the figure in shock, their eyes filled with fear and shock. Wang Xian entered the holy kingdom of the Gemini god emperors and ignored the rest. This guy is too arrogant. He doesn't even care about our senior brother and young master Long Zaitian. Does he really think he can kill anyone he wants? Who does he think he is? Seeing Wang Xian enter the holy kingdom, that young man bellowed with an awful expression. He is indeed a bit too arrogant. The ice mountain race has ambushed him twice, and it seems like he escaped by using the path of falling leaves. However, that is the ice mountain race. If he angers our young master Long Zaitian and the others, our dragon race can eliminate him in minutes. A young man walked over and said with the same gloomy expression, "Such an arrogant guy won't live for long. The ice mountain race will annihilate him soon. He's just a grasshopper after autumn. He must have given up on himself for being so arrogant." A middle-aged man looked at the disappearing figure at the entrance with disdain. The surrounding disciples from Willow Deity Dojo nodded slightly. Although Wang Xian wasn't weak, it depended on who he was compared to. If he really angered some of the disciples from the low-level races in Willow Deity Dojo, he wouldn't even know how he died. Wang Xian wasn't aware of the discussion behind him. If he knew, he might have killed those guys. When he heard about the dragon descendants, he already had the intention to kill them. The dragon descendants, Nine Swords race, and Skeleton race were all races that the Dragon Palace wanted to annihilate. The reason why he didn't do it was because the treasures ahead were more valuable than their lives. This is the holy kingdom of the Gemini god emperors? Wang Xian entered a holy kingdom and realized it was filled with seawater. He squinted his eyes and looked around. With a swift movement, Lin Fan flew forward quickly. The entrance had been cleared by the disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. Hence, there were no obstructions along the way. The entire holy kingdom contained a terrifying amount of energy. There were also some fish that were formed by water elements swimming around. Some of the fish attacked Wang Xian when they saw him. However, the attack power of these fishes was very weak. Some of the stronger fish had been destroyed. Gemini god emperor, one uses a blade and the other uses a sword. The one who uses a sword is of the water attribute, and the one who uses a blade is of the fire attribute. This should be the water god emperor's divine nations. Wang Xian mumbled to himself as he flew deeper into the forest. Some of the buildings inside were intact, but some places had been opened. Clearly, someone had entered. Wang Xian wasn't sure how big the god nation was, but there was a suppressive force and energy that reduced his speed by half. It was normal for one to be restricted from entering someone else's divine kingdom. There should be some treasures in the divine kingdom that have already been obtained by the disciples of the Willow Deity Dao ground. As he continued to fly inside, he discovered that the world in front of him had changed. This side was filled with seawater, while the front was a world of flames. It was a red building with flames burning on the surface of the building. There were sculptures on the building. It looked incomparably holy. Ahead should be the Saber God Emperor's deity nation. All the treasures in the Water God Emperor's deity nation have been taken by the disciples of the Willow Deity Dao ground? Am I too late? Wang Xian knitted his eyebrows slightly and flew forward at high speed. After flying for more than 10 minutes, there were still no treasures. Bam bam bam. Be careful. Before long, the sounds of battle came from ahead. Huh. Wang Xian was taken aback. His dragon eyes looked ahead and flew over immediately. This is? Soon, the battlefield came into view. A group of over 2,000 people was fighting with several water beasts and fire beasts. The water beasts and fire beasts were condensed from energy. Each of them possessed terrifying attack power. Behind the water beasts and fire beasts, there were two 20-meter water beasts and fire beasts. They didn't attack, but were scanning the surroundings spiritually with murderous intent. The water beasts and fire beasts looked similar to the Kirin in the universe. Behind the two water beasts and fire beasts, there were two coffins. In front of the coffins, there was a blade and a sword. The fiery red blade and the blue longsword were crossed and placed there quietly, captivating one's soul. When Wang Xian saw the blade and the sword, his eyes narrowed. Other than the two blades and the sword, there were other treasures around. Sacred beads that emitted blue and red radiance. Sacred trees planted around the two coffins. On the two sacred trees, there were blue and red fruits. Each of the treasures was exuding a fatal temptation. More than 2,000 Willow Deity Dojo disciples attacked, while some of them stood in the middle and watched with vigilance. Senior sister, watch out. From the side, a few aquatic beasts suddenly stretched out their long claws and directly attacked a middle-aged woman. The surrounding women's expressions changed, and they immediately shouted, "Watch out!" In the middle, senior brother Junzi, who had not made a move, was shocked when he saw this. A long sword appeared in his hand and he attacked the few water beasts. All of a sudden, the huge leader of the water beasts in the middle let out a furious roar just as he struck. Columns of water shot towards senior brother Junzi. Congeal! Seeing the sudden attack of the leader of the water beasts, senior brother Junzi had no choice but to change his target. Be careful, senior sister. Beside the water beasts, Mi Xen Lu was shocked when she saw her senior sister in danger. She let out a low roar and her entire body transformed. Transformation! Her body transformed into a Mi Xen Lu and a faint dragon might exuded from her body. Her pair of dragon horns unleashed a powerful attack. She leaped into the air and caught the senior sister before flying back. Blaze tortoise-winged beast, block them! She quickly shouted and the 8th Order God Emperor Realm Blaze tortoise-winged beast flew over to block the attacks of the water beasts. In the middle, the group of people who had not made a move noticed the transformation of the Mi Xen Lu and their eyes flickered. This is? Flood Dragon, a divine dragon bloodline user. Long Zitian from the dragon race looked at the Mi Xen Lu with unconcealed passion in his eyes. There were also a dozen people shrouded in black robes looking at the Mi Xen Lu with glowing red eyes. This is? The dozen or so figures wielding sharp swords raised their brows when they saw the Mi Xen Lu's form. Many thanks, junior sister Xen Lu. If it wasn't for your help, senior sister would have been in danger. The middle-aged woman who was saved revealed a smile and looked at the Mi Xen Lu with astonishment. Junior sister Xen Lu, return to your original form. She sensed something in her mind and said immediately. Chapter 3072, Ice Mountain had been destroyed. How dare they be so arrogant? 3 roar roar, roar roar. The aquatic beasts and fire beasts stopped their attacks when they saw the disciples of Willow Deity Dojo retreating. They stood guard around the Gemini God Emperor's coffin, staring coldly at everyone. Once anyone entered their range, they would launch a deadly attack. Mi Xen Lu sensed the undisguised stares from the surroundings. Her eyes flickered and she transformed into her human form. Phew, these aquatic beasts must be the result of the Gemini Celestial Emperor using the power of the God Nation to activate the sword. An acquired spiritual treasure sword can unleash terrifying attacks when activated by the remnant consciousness of the God Nation. Senior brother gentleman retreated a distance away from the attacking range of the aquatic beast leader as he spoke solemnly. Are you all right, junior sisters? As he spoke, he looked at Mi Xen Lu and the rest. I'm fine. It's all thanks to junior sister Xen Lu. The senior sister who was saved nodded her head and looked at the Mi Xen deer beside her with a face full of gratitude. Who would have expected this junior sister to possess the bloodline of the divine dragon? She's a semi-dragon. At this moment, Long Zigan stared at Mi Xen Lu and walked towards her. The other disciples of Willow Deity Dojo looked over and were puzzled. When Mi Xen Lu heard Long Zitian's voice, she looked at him coldly and ignored him. Hee, I wonder if junior sister would be interested in joining the dragon descendants race. If you do, I can guarantee that no one will dare to bully you. Long Zitian didn't mind that she ignored him. He smiled and continued, otherwise, you will be coveted by many races because you possess the bloodline of the divine dragon. His words were filled with a hint of warning, causing Mi Xen Lu's expression to change. You don't have to worry about that, she said coldly. With the protection of our senior brothers and sisters, No one will dare to covet junior sister Xn Lu. Otherwise, they will be our enemies. The middle-aged senior sister frowned and looked at Long Zaitin. So what if they do? That Wang Xian is the enemy of our Ice Mountain race. Wang Xian's men are the enemies of our Ice Mountain race. Young Master Long Zaitin, if you want this flood dragon, hand it over to our Ice Mountain race. It won't be long before our Ice Mountain race delivers it to you. At this moment, Bing Ling Hongtu stared coldly at the Mei Xn deer and said to Long Zai Tian and the others in a flattering tone. Now, the disciples of the Willow Deity Taoist grounds were all aware of Long Zai Tian's identity. Even the Peak God Emperor disciples of the Dragon Descendant race in Willow Deity Dao Plaza were so polite to Long Zai Tian. One could imagine his status in the Dragon Descendant race. Currently, their Ice Mountain race was weak in the Willow Deity Dao field. If they could curry favor with Long Zai Tian, it might be a good thing for their Ice Mountain race. The expression of the middle-aged senior sister next to me Xn Lu changed, and she stared coldly at Bing Ling Hongtu and the others. The few female disciples of Willow Deity Dao Field also had a displeased look on their faces as they stared coldly at the two of them. Senior and junior sisters, don't look at me like that. You should be clear of the hatred between us. This is a grudge between our Ice Mountain race and them. If anyone tries to stop us, they will be the enemy of our Ice Mountain race. Bing Ling Hong too saw the group of female disciples staring at him and warned indifferently. Although there were many people standing on Mi Xn Lu's side, he didn't take it to heart. They were just a group of loose sand. They wouldn't dare to provoke the Ice Mountain race. The two of you from the Ice Mountain race, if you can talk nicely, then talk nicely. Threatening others isn't my style. Long Zai Tian laughed and patted Bing Ling Hongtu and the others beside him. However, if she doesn't give young Master Long Zai Tian face, then we won't be polite. Bing Ling Hongtu revealed a fawning expression. Around them, some people looked at Bing Ling Hongtu and the others in disdain. Behind them, the disciples of the other races looked at them indifferently. Some of them were indifferent, while others were communicating through voice transmission. Many disciples were extremely interested in a flood dragon. Being a dragon knight was the dream of many. When Mi Xn Lu heard their unscrupulous conversation, she revealed an infuriated look. She clenched her fists tightly. The group of female disciples beside her revealed sullen looks. Alright, everyone. We are all disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. Let's settle the matter of the spiritual treasure of the God Nation first. Senior brother gentleman spoke with a little helplessness. As soon as he finished his sentence, a chuckle was heard. Wang Xian, who had already arrived at the back, walked over slowly. He swept his gaze across Bing Ling Hongtu and Long Zai Tian with a cold look in his eyes. The sudden laughter attracted the attention of the disciples of Willow Deity Dojo in front. When they saw Wang Xian, some of the disciples raised their eyebrows and crossed their arms to watch the show from the side. Brother Wang. When Mi Xn Lu saw Wang Xian, she was pleasantly surprised and ran over immediately. This guy, Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest felt Wang Xian's cold look and revealed a fearful look. They no longer had the path of return. If Wang Xian were to attack them, they wouldn't be able to escape. Don't worry. Beside Long Zai Tian, an old man patted Bing Ling Hongtu's shoulder gently. Yes. Thank you, senior brother. Seeing the reassured look of the old man, Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest smiled. In Willow Deity Dojo, there weren't many Peak Emperor God disciples. However, the Dragon Descendants had Peak Emperor God experts in Willow Deity Dojo. If the Dragon Descendants were on their side, they wouldn't be in any danger. I heard that the Ice Mountain tribe wants to deal with you. Wang Xian nodded at Mi Xn Lu and walked straight towards Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest with a smile on his face. They aren't good people? Mi Xn Lu said softly and followed closely behind him. Wang Xian walked forward and stopped 10 meters away from Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest. Are you the ones who said that? He lifted his head and stared at Bing Ling Hongtu and the rest. So what if we said that? Bing Ling Hongtu's expression changed as he faced the overbearing Wang Xian. Beside him, Long Zaitian smiled at them. Bing Ling Hongtu clenched his teeth and said coldly with some confidence. Interesting. The Ice Mountain tribe has been annihilated and you still dare to be so arrogant. Who gave you the courage? Wang Xian looked at them and asked with a smile. The Ice Mountain tribe has been annihilated? The Ice Mountain tribe has been annihilated? That's impossible. What's going on? Is it true? The surrounding disciples of Willow Deity Dojo were slightly shocked when they heard Wang Xian's words. Their faces were filled with doubts. Chapter 3073. The Iceberg Sect has been destroyed. How dare you be so arrogant? For Inchar Iceberg race has been destroyed? Bingling Hong Tu and the rest were stunned when they heard Wang Xian's words. Their faces turned cold. Hee, our iceberg race has been destroyed? Don't tell me you killed us? Although our iceberg race isn't very strong here in the Milky Way, we have been around for billions of years. How can we be destroyed so easily? Wang Xian, even if you were to be destroyed, our iceberg race wouldn't perish. As they spoke, they stared coldly at Wang Xian. Is that so? Wang Xian chuckled. It doesn't matter if you don't believe me. Go down and accompany them. As he spoke, his figure instantly appeared in front of them, and his palm reached out to grab them. Young Master Long Zhaitian. Seeing Wang Xian's attack, Bingling Hong Tu and the rest's faces changed and they shouted. Hee, you are all disciples of the Willow Deity Dojo. Moreover, you are my people. I don't care who you are or how arrogant you are. Keep a low profile in front of us. The moment Wang Xian attacked, Long Zhaitian's body shook. Lightning shot out from his body and condensed into a palm that grabbed Wang Xian's arm. Long Zhaitian looked at Wang Xian and said indifferently. Beside Long Zhaitian, Long Yufeng and the disciples of the dragon race watched with smiles on their faces. Long Zhaitian's bloodline is really terrifying. His current strength is only at the 8th Order God Emperor realm, but he can fight against a 9th Order God Emperor realm. His bloodline is indeed strong. I heard that Wang Xian has the strength of a 9th Order God Emperor. Fighting against Long Zhaitian and the rest is obviously a slap in the face. His strength is enough to bully some domain-level race's disciples. Some people whispered when they saw this scene. Wang Xian, don't be arrogant. And you, Heart Deer, you better submit to our young master Long Zhaitian. Otherwise, you will suffer a lot in the future. Wang Xian looked at Long Zhaitian's attack, heard Bingling Hong Tu and the rest's words, and looked at their arrogant expressions. Buzz. His palm moved slightly, and a terrifying destructive force instantly smashed the lightning palm that was blocking him. Bang bang. In the next moment, Bing Ling and Hong Tu, who still had smiles on their faces, burst into pieces. Fresh blood splashed all over Long Zhaitian's body. This sudden scene caused everyone to be slightly stunned. Long Zhaitian's entire person was also somewhat stupefied. Feeling the splattered blood on his face, there was a trace of change in his expression. No one knew if he was talking about Bing Ling, Hong Tu and the rest, or Long Zhaitian. Probably both. When he first made his move, he wanted to see the attitude of Long Zhaitian and the others. If they attacked, Wang Xian would play along with them. You're courting death. Upon hearing Wang Xian's name, Long Zhaitian's expression changed instantly. Terrifying murderous intent erupted from his body. Bolts of lightning gathered on his body. Young Master Long Zhaitian. At the side, Long Yufeng extended his hand and pulled Long Zhaitian. His eyes revealed a grave and vigilant expression as he transmitted his voice. Young Master Long Zhaitian, I'm afraid his strength is not weaker than mine. Crackle. Upon hearing Long Yufeng's words, Long Zhaitian's eyes narrowed slightly and the lightning on his body emitted a violent sound. He stared coldly at Wang Xian and revealed a sinister smile. Interesting. You are the first person to not give me, Long Zhaitian, any face. Today, I'm here for the acquired spiritual treasure. I can't play with you. You will regret your actions just now very soon, because you will have to pay with your life. As Long Zhaitian spoke, he extended his hand and wiped the fresh blood on his body, making it disappear. He looked at Wang Xian plainly, as though he was narrating a very ordinary matter. I'm also here for the spiritual treasure in front. Wang Xian wore a smile on his face as he looked at Long Zhaitian calmly. Kakaka. Upon seeing Wang Xian's indifferent expression, Long Zitian's eyes were filled with anger. Good, he said coldly as he turned his head to look at the coffin. Wang Xian actually killed another 2 disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. He has killed a total of 7. He is too arrogant and unscrupulous. He doesn't give any face to the dragon descendants. First, he offended the Ice Mountain race. Now, he offended Long Zitian and the rest. But that Wang Xian is really strong. He doesn't seem to be a 9th order god emperor. He might be a peak god emperor. Some people discussed softly as they glanced at Wang Xian from time to time. Wang Xian's sudden attack had indeed shocked them. In an instant he killed Bing Ling, Hongtu and the rest. Blood splattered all over Long Zitian. Some of the experts from Willow Deity Dojo could vaguely sense that Wang Xian's strength should be at the peak god emperor realm. Everyone, let's attack together. The treasure belongs to those who are capable. Long Yofeng's cold gaze swept across Wang Xian before he looked at the surrounding disciples of Willow Deity Dojo. All right, those who are capable will have it. It all depends on their own capabilities. An old man beside him who was holding a strange-looking tree nodded his head. Agreed. That acquired spiritual treasure belongs to me. I'll say the ugly words first. If anyone tries to snatch it from me, don't blame me for being impolite. On the right, an old man shrouded in black robes with blood-red flames in his eyes spoke plainly. It all depends on your own capabilities. Long Zitian sneered. Sell everything. If anyone wants to be the last to strike, don't blame us for being impolite. Long Yufeng said coldly as a terrifying aura surged from his body. Go back and wait for me at Willow Deity Dojo. Wang Xian said to the Mi Xan deer. Mi Xan Lu looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. Her face was filled with astonishment as she nodded her head slightly. He laughed and didn't say anything else. He looked around and the corner of his mouth curved into a smile. Since he had made such arrangements, it was obvious that he had something important to do. An old man bellowed. The disciples of Willow Deity Dojo started moving. Senior brother gentleman, Long Yufeng, the old man shrouded in black robes, and the old man holding the strange-looking tree. The 4 of them led the way and flew towards the location of the treasure. When the leaders of the water and fire beasts saw them, their eyes were filled with coldness. They let out a roar and charged towards them. Scram! All of them shouted. Their eyes were filled with killing intent as they attacked the leaders of the water and fire beasts. Rumble! Wang Xian's body shook as he charged forward. Terrifying energy gathered in his body as he attacked the water and fire beasts. Behind him, Long Zitian and the rest of the 9th Order God Emperor Realm experts followed closely. Everyone wanted to fight for a postnatal spiritual treasure. Chapter 3074. Snatching treasures and killing up. When the leaders of the water beasts and fire beasts saw the group of leaders charging towards them, they revealed a ferocious look. Their bodies shook as horrifying swords and sabers spun around them. They lifted their heads and brandished their long sabers and swords towards Wang Xian and the group. Crackle! Long Yufeng shook his body and swung his arm forward. With a purple divine weapon on his arm, he blasted forward. A lightning dragon appeared and attacked the sabers and swords in front of him. At the side, the old man with the strange tree of God, the black-robed old man from the skeleton clan, and senior brother gentleman launched their attacks at the same time. Waves of horrifying energy collided with the attacks of the leaders of the water beasts and fire beasts. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The entire space exploded immediately. Horrifying energy gathered at the center, preventing anyone from advancing. Roar, roar. At this time, 2 roars were heard. The leaders of the water beasts and fire beasts, which were originally 20 meters in size, grew to 1,000 meters in size. They carried sharp sabers and swords and attacked them. Wang Xian waved his arm and a huge, grayish dragon claw struck at the leader of the fire beasts. Fire sabers spun around the fire beast and slashed at Wang Xian's dragon claw. The horrifying flaming saber radiance caused the dragon claw to crumble rapidly. It leaped, opened its mouth, and shrouded the area in front of it with flames. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly when he sensed the horrifying attack. He moved and dodged immediately. Senior brother gentleman and the rest also retreated immediately. The attacks of the two leaders of the water beasts and fire beasts were too strong. TSK, without the control of the Gemini Celestial Emperor, we're just relying on the remaining strength of the God Nation. Everyone, don't hold back. The black-robed old man looked at the water beasts and fire beasts. He swept his gaze across the surroundings with a cold look in his eyes. Bloom. The old man with the strange tree of God lifted his head and tossed the tree of God into the air. Branches appeared out of nowhere and attacked the leaders of the water beasts and fire beasts. At the same time, the branches condensed and formed a hole that was connected to the front of the coffin. Thunder beast roar. When Long Yufeng saw someone bring out their strength, he stopped holding back. With a wave of his hands, lightning beasts flew out from his arms and attacked the leader of the water and flame beasts. A gentleman is peerless. Senior brother gentleman shook the long sword in his hand, and a long sword appeared beneath him. The countless long swords around him condensed into a long dragon, which also attacked the leader of the fire and water beasts. Skeleton, eternal. The black-robed old man waved his arm, and a black skull with blood-red flames appeared where its pupils should be. 5 Elemental River. Wang Xian followed their attacks. With a swing of his arm, a grayish destructive force swept across. In the blink of an eye, the terrifying attacks of the 5 people engulfed the water beast and fire beast leader. Voila, the acquired spirit treasure is mine. At this time, a pair of wings suddenly appeared on Long Zai Tian's body. The wings flickered with the power of lightning. At this moment, his speed was abnormally terrifying. Around him, a lightning symbol floated above his head, looking extremely mystical. However, at this moment, Wang Xian suddenly felt a throbbing in his body, and an extremely strong suction force was felt. He immediately looked towards Long Zai Tian's wings. This is? His eyes were flashing with passion. This was the aura of the sacred feather. The aura of the sacred feather of the thunder attribute. Long Zai Tian had the sacred feather of the thunder attribute, a part of the unbeginning saint wings. Radiance flashed across Wang Xian's eyes. As he looked ahead, the unbeginning saint wings gradually appeared behind him. The water and fire beasts met their terrifying attacks, and the attacks dispersed the flames and water on their bodies. But soon, the leader of the water and fire beasts gradually turned into a long sword and a long saber. The long saber and long sword were filled with a murderous aura. They were incomparably dazzling as they slashed at the void. They were not slashing at the group, but at the front of the coffin. A saber and sword scar that looked like a sting but was only 4 meters wide appeared. Bam bam bam. Long Zai Tian, senior brother gentleman, and the rest, who had just approached, had a terrifying collision with the saber and sword scar. The defense in front of them collapsed rapidly. Shit. What kind of creepy attack is this? Long Zai Tian bellowed with an awful expression. That's the supreme saber and sword scar. This acquired spiritual treasure is called the saber and sword scar. One of the 9 Swords race's 9th Order God Emperor Realm expert spoke with a solemn expression. We should be able to get through this defense and get the acquired spiritual treasure inside. Senior brother gentleman said with a grave expression as he watched his saber radiance crumble upon coming into contact with the saber and sword scar. The water and fire beasts transformed and slashed out saber and sword scars, blocking their path. This saber and sword scar, just as they stopped, Wang Xian's eyes flashed with light. The 5 elements grindstone hovered around him. He shook his body and the yin-yang dragon coil spun, covering the 5 elements grindstone. Wang Xian flapped his wings and flew towards the saber and sword scar at a terrifying speed. Ha! Seeing someone barging into the saber and sword scar, Long Zai Tian, senior brother gentleman, and the rest quickly looked over. Kakaka. When Wang Xian charged over, the yin-yang dragon coil crumbled. However, the 5 elements grindstone spun and converted all the energy into the earth divine dragon power. The heavy earth aura covered the 5 elements grindstone. Wang Xian placed his palm on it. 8 brilliance dragon scale. Layers of dragon scales appeared around the 5 elements grindstone. Wang Xian stood on it and continued his assault. Bam bam bam. The 8 brilliance dragon scale began to crumble rapidly. As the dragon scales disappeared, the saber and sword scar continued to assault the defense of the 5 elements grindstone. A deep dragon roar came from the 5 elements grindstone. Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he flapped his unbeginning saint wings. He passed through the saber and sword scar and flew towards the saber and sword in front of the coffin. Wang Wang. As he came to the front of the saber and sword, he swung his arm and his palm turned into a dragon claw, grabbing the saber and sword. Wang Wang Wang. Wang Xian waved his arm and dragon shadows wrapped around the saber and sword scar. The dragon shadows coiled around the saber and sword scar and suppressed it with all its might. Success. A smile appeared on his face. When he kept the saber and sword in his hand, the saber and sword scar disappeared. The saber and sword that the leader of the fire and water beasts had transformed into disappeared into Wang Xian's hand. This saber and sword is much stronger than the Frost Divine Sword. Wang Xian felt the aura from the saber and sword and felt a little excited. What? Oh no, he got the saber and sword scar. Everything happened in a split second. Behind them, when Long Yufeng, Long Zaiyan, and the others saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically. Chapter 3075. Snatching Treasure and Killing What? Wang Xian got the sword and saber acquired spiritual treasure. Wang Xian got the treasure. He's so fast and has such terrifying defense. Behind them, some of the disciples of the Willow Deity Dojo noticed the situation, and their expressions changed slightly, revealing shocked expressions. No one had expected that the acquired spiritual treasure would be obtained by Wang Xian. He has the strength of a peak emperor god. It's highly possible for him to get the treasure. Some disciples from Willow Deity Dojo thought to themselves. However, some of them were looking ahead with flickering eyes. If it were any other peak emperor god who got the treasure, they might give up. After all, these peak emperor god experts either had the backing of a primary race in the universe or had great prestige in Willow Deity Dojo. However, it was hard to say if Wang Xian got the treasure. How could the other peak stage god emperor senior brothers be willing to accept an arrogant fella without any background? Hand over the sword and saber mark. Do you think you can have such a treasure? Long Zaitin bellowed as he looked at Wang Xian with the sword and saber in his hand. As he spoke, Long Yufeng approached and locked his eyes on Wang Xian. Beside him, the old man from Skeleton Clan and the old man with the divine tree stared at Wang Xian with flickering eyes. Only senior brother gentleman shook his head and retreated. He didn't participate. But now that I've got the treasure, you still want to snatch it? Wang Xian stared at them with the sword and saber mark in his hand. The treasure belongs to those who are capable. Long Yufeng stared at Wang Xian with flickering eyes. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and kept the treasure with a wave of his arm. All right, I've kept it in my holy kingdom. I'm afraid you can't get it even if you want to. Ha! He laughed and looked at Long Yufeng, the old man from Skeleton Clan and the old man with the divine tree with a mocking face. The heart of the old man holding the strange divine tree sank. He shook his head, feeling a little unwilling to accept this outcome. He didn't expect the acquired soul treasure to be suppressed so quickly. Before it was suppressed, the acquired soul treasure wouldn't have been able to collect his spatial ring and divine kingdom. But now, the acquired spiritual treasure had already been obtained by someone else and placed in the divine kingdom. The chances of them snatching it were too low. Moreover, he was not on the same side as the others, so it was impossible to force him out. Acquired spiritual treasures belong to those who are capable. Junior brother Wang Xian, since you are strong, I won't compete for it. As he spoke, he retreated. The Skeleton Clan's old man also retreated backward. 3 of the 4 peak god emperor experts had retreated. There was no need for him to take action anymore. Long Zaitian's expression changed when he saw the sword and blade scar being put away. He snorted softly, anger and helplessness on his face. Long Yufeng also slowly retracted his arm. Who would have expected such a powerful acquired spiritual treasure to be suppressed by Wang Xian so quickly? At the back, everyone who saw this scene was filled with shock. No one had expected the biggest winner today to be the arrogant Wang Xian. This divine tree, I'm taking it. At this time, the old man with the strange divine tree moved and flew towards the water attribute divine tree beside the coffin. Since the acquired soul treasure had been obtained, they could only take a step back. Wang. Seeing the old man with the strange divine tree making a move, senior brother gentleman and the old man from the skeleton clan also moved and flew towards the coffin. Let's go. Long Yufeng reminded Long Zitian, who was beside him, before flying forward quickly. What I hate the most is being threatened by others. Senior brother gentleman, the old man with the divine tree, and the old man from the skeleton clan heard a low murmur when they flew over. The few of them were taken aback and looked at Wang Xian in shock. Swoosh. Boom. At the next moment, Wang Xian made his move before anyone could react to the situation. His eyes were filled with murderous intent and terrifying aura. At this moment he exerted his strength to the limit. Bam! In front of him, Long Zitian, who was only a few dozen kilometers away, didn't even have time to react before he felt a terrifying force fall on his body. In an instant, death shrouded him. The horrifying attack caused his body to explode. However, Wang Xian, who was attacking, frowned slightly as he stared at his head. On his head, there was a dazzling lightning symbol that protected his head from being smashed by his horrifying attack. However, other than his head, the rest of his body was obliterated. At the back of his lightning wings, there were two dazzling lightning sacred feathers that emitted lightning radiance. Under his attack, there was no trace of them. Seeing the two sacred feathers, he ignored the head protected by the lightning symbol. With a wave of his arm, he kept the sacred feathers into the mother nest. What? You're courting death. At the side, Long Yufeng heard the terrifying attack coming from beside him, and his heart violently jumped. When he saw Long Zitian being attacked, his eyes widened, and his face was filled with rage as he roared. When the surrounding people sensed the commotion, they were shocked. This scene, what I hate the most is threats. A mere 9th Order God Emperor Realm Cultivator dares to threaten me? Also, how dare you dragon descendants threaten me? Wang Xian revealed a cold expression. He flapped his unbeginning saint wings and appeared in front of Long Yufeng instantly. His palms turned into dragon claws. The 5 elements grindstone appeared in the sky and attacked him. You're courting death. This horrifying speed, he widened his eyes in horror. He placed his arms in front of him and quickly reached out to block. Both his arms released the horrifying power of lightning. Bam bam bam. The dragon claws landed on his arms and Wang Xian clenched them tightly. Above him, a frosty longsword fell from the 5 elements grindstone. The frosty longsword condensed from attributes seemed to be able to freeze the space as it landed on his head. Scram! Long Yufeng felt the horrifying attack. He roared and the lightning around his body surged into the sky. Wang Xian moved and appeared behind Long Yufeng instantly. The sword and saber scar appeared behind him. Let's see how powerful you are. He shouted softly as he waved the sword and saber scar and slashed at Long Yufeng. The horrifying power of the sword and saber broke through the lightning defense on Long Yufeng. Chapter 3076, Robbing Treasure de Ka. A crisp sound came from Long Yufeng's body as the saber and sword scars swept across his body. No! Long Yufeng let out a horrified roar as he felt his body being sliced into 2. Dragon descendants? Wang Xian retracted the saber and sword scars and grabbed hold of his body with his dragon claws. The lightning on his body began to dissipate rapidly and his vitality was fading rapidly. Wang Xian waved his arm and kept his body into the mother nest. Long Yufeng had been in Willow Deity Dojo for a long time. He did not have the path of return or the creepy lightning symbols on Long Zitian. At this moment, when everyone saw Long Yufeng being killed by Wang Xian, they were shocked beyond words. They stared in horror, and everyone stopped what they were doing. Long Yufeng was dead. He did not have the slightest strength to resist Wang Xian's attack. Instant kill, a complete instant kill. Such horrifying strength. How dare you kill someone from our dragon race? How dare you kill senior brother Long Yufeng? Wang Xian, you're courting death. You're courting death. At the back, an old man widened his eyes in disbelief as he roared furiously. Wang Xian actually dared to kill someone from their dragon race. Dragon eyes lock. Wang Xian looked over when he heard the old man's words. Chains appeared around them instantly. The horrifying chains sealed off a space. What are you doing? What are you doing? The old man screamed in panic and fear when he saw the chains around him and sensed that the space had been sealed. Around him, the dozen disciples from the dragon race were also shocked. They swallowed their saliva and felt their scalps go numb. What am I doing? Since I've made my move, I'm naturally going to kill everyone from your dragon race. What do you think? Wang Xian looked at the people from the dragon clan with a cold smirk. How dare you? How dare you? Their bodies trembled when they heard him. Is Wang Xian going to go against the dragon race? This is too crazy. Just because of Long Zitian's threat, Wang Xian wants to annihilate everyone in the dragon race. We've all misjudged Wang Xian. He's not arrogant. That's just his nature. Madness. Long Zitian threatened him and he immediately attacked. Moreover, he exploded with such terrifying power. No wonder he could obtain the sword and saber scar acquired heaven's spiritual treasure. Long Yufeng, who was a peak stage god emperor, was instantly killed. This time, Long Zitian has kicked a hard board. During this period of time, Long Zitian has been very arrogant in our Willow Deity Dojo. Now that he has met a ruthless person, do you think that Wang Xian has really annihilated the Ice Mountain race? His strength is too strong. Everyone looked at Wang Xian, who was floating proudly in the air, with respect in their eyes. I don't care if you are a peak god emperor expert or a race's pride. Since you offended me, I will naturally exterminate you. This reminded them of Wang Xian's words. The iceberg was destroyed. Previously, many people didn't take this to heart. Now, it seemed that it might be true. Around the Gemini Celestial Emperor coffin, senior brother gentleman, the old man with the strange divine tree, and the old man from the skeleton race were looking at that figure with fear. With such a terrifying attack, they knew that they wouldn't be able to withstand it. Wang Xian, I want you dead, I want you dead. You actually dared to destroy my body, you actually dared to kill a member of the dragon descendant race. Just you wait to be hunted down, just you wait to be hunted down by our dragon descendant race's universe venerable rank powerhouses. At this moment, an extremely violent and furious voice came from the side. Everyone looked over and saw Long Zitian's head, which was protected by the lightning symbol. Noisy! When Wang Xian heard him, he waved his dragon claw. Boom! A horrifying suction force came from his mouth. I, Long Zitian, swear that within half a year, I will take your head and grind your bones into ashes. When Long Zitian saw his head flying over, he roared in a stern voice. The lightning symbol on his head flickered and his head gradually disappeared. All right, it's your turn. Wang Xian smiled faintly and turned to the rest of the dragon race. No, don't kill us. Don't kill us. Let us go. Let us go. Wang. Out of the 9, 3 of them took out fallen leaves and fled in fear. However, 6 of them were screaming in despair. Wang Xian walked over sarcastically and extended his dragon claw. Voila! Chains bound them and sent them flying towards the dragon claw. No, senior brother gentleman, save us. Save us. A disciple begged senior brother gentleman for help. Senior brother gentleman's mouth twitched when he heard it. He was a good guy, but he wasn't stupid. Wang Xian was obviously bent on killing them. Moreover, he had already formed a feud with the dragon race. Wouldn't it mean that he was siding with the dragon race if he intervened? How could someone who could cultivate to the peak emperor god realm not understand this? Wang Xian waved his arm and a wave of destructive energy engulfed their bodies. Their vitality vanished rapidly. After cleaning up the dragon race, Wang Xian scanned the surroundings. Everyone quickly averted their gazes with respect in their eyes. To them, Wang Xian was too ruthless. Wang Xian cupped his fist at them before turning to leave. Seeing his back view disappear, Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Now, 17 disciples of Willow Deity Dojo have died in his hands. A middle-aged man said leisurely. In a short period of time, 17 disciples of Willow Deity Dojo had been killed, and they died in the hands of the same person, the same disciple of Willow Deity Dojo. That was too ruthless. The scar of sword and saber is a type of acquired spiritual treasure. After the 5 elements great grind absorbs the frost divine sword and the scar of sword and saber, it will definitely possess the offensive power of a universe supremacy. Wang Xian flew towards the exit in a great mood. The acquisition of the scar of sword and saber basically confirmed that the 5 elements great grind would achieve a substantial breakthrough. Moreover, Wang Xian had just learned that because the 5 elements great grind had 5 attributes, it could also absorb the special characteristics of acquired spiritual treasures when it absorbed them. This absorption could also mean that the 5 elements great grind had fused with the acquired spiritual treasure. The spirits within the acquired spiritual treasures had become the underlings of the 5 divine dragons within the 5 elements great grind. After absorbing the acquired spiritual treasure, the 5 elements great grind could release the special characteristics and power of the acquired spiritual treasure. This was the reason why the 5 elements great grind had released the frost divine sword that could freeze the heavens and earth. If the 5 elements great grind could absorb more acquired spiritual treasures in the future, wouldn't it be able to release all sorts of horrifying attacks? Chapter 3077. The group of senior brothers and sisters has been in the Gemini Divine Nation for a long time. I wonder if they have obtained the treasures inside. I heard that there are acquired spiritual treasures. I wonder who will get them. Senior brother Long Yufeng might have gotten them. After all, the dragon descendants are very strong in Willow Deity Dojo. Young Master Long Zaitin is not weak either and has many treasures. That's hard to say. Our senior brother gentleman is also very strong. The senior brother from the skeleton clan is also very mysterious and unpredictable. Outside the Gemini God Emperor's divine kingdom, a group of more than 1,000 disciples gathered outside, discussing curiously. The group of senior brothers and sisters had been inside for more than a day. They were very curious about the situation inside. It was a pity that they were too weak and couldn't compete with their senior brothers and sisters. Hence, they decided not to enter. Someone is out. At this time, a middle-aged man looked at the divine nation and exclaimed, "It looks like Wang Xian. Why is he alone? He must have been chased out by senior brother Long Yufeng and young master Long Zaitin. It wasn't easy for us to chase the wild beasts in, and he just sat back and enjoyed the fruits of our labor. How could it be so simple?" "That's possible. The other senior brothers and sisters didn't come. They might have chased him out. After all, this guy doesn't have a good reputation in Willow Deity Dojo." Some people looked at the figure and discussed softly. Wang Xian walked out of the Gemini Divine Nation. He heard some of the discussions outside and revealed a faint smile. "Excuse me, who are the disciples of the dragon descendant race?" Wang Xian looked around and fixed his eyes on a young man. The young man was taken aback by his sudden question. "We are from the dragon descendants." A few young and middle-aged men looked at Wang Xian and answered coldly. One of them was the one who stopped Wang Xian when he entered. At this moment, the young man's lips curved into a faint smile. "Oh, nothing much. Let me send you guys off," Wang Xian said plainly and waved his arm. Boom! A terrifying attack arrived in the blink of an eye, and the destructive energy swept across their bodies. The 4 of them fell to the ground without any signs of life. Wang Xian took a look. With a swift move, he flew forward. What is Wang Xian doing? Does he know what he's doing? With a wave of his hand, he killed all the disciples of the dragon race in the Willow Deity Taoist grounds. Didn't he know that they were the descendants of dragons? One of the overlords of the Milky Way. Was he courting death? Everyone swallowed their saliva and looked at the corpses in astonishment. Look at the universe AI, there's news that the Ice Mountain race has been destroyed. At this moment, another astonished voice sounded. The iceberg race was destroyed? Everyone was stunned when they heard this. Some of them took out their supercomputers and searched for information about the Ice Mountain race. When he saw the news of the Ice Mountain tribe's annihilation, his eyes widened. Who destroyed it? 88. Does it have anything to do with Wang Xian? Just as the crowd of Willow Deity Dojo disciples were discussing in astonishment, not long after, Willow Deity Dojo disciples walked out from Gemini God Emperor's divine kingdom. When the crowd learned that Wang Xian had casually killed the other disciples of the dragon descendants, they gasped. Wang Xian was going to make the entire dragon race his enemy. When the disciples outside learned about the situation inside, their eyes widened and their faces were filled with horror. When the disciples inside learned about the annihilation of the Ice Mountain race, they were also shocked. They were well aware of the strength of the Ice Mountain race. Now, they were annihilated. Was it done by Wang Xian alone, or did he have his own background? Only a primary race in the universe could annihilate a powerful domain-level race. Clan leader, all the disciples in Willow Deity Dojo, except for Zaitian and 3 disciples who escaped with the Way of Return, have been killed. At the same time, in a huge island palace at the edge of the Milky Way, an old man reported to a figure above with a bitter expression. The figure was shrouded in purple gas and sat on a huge throne of a giant beast. In the sky, a head that looked like the head of a dragon was hanging. On the right side of the head stood a young man. He was extremely weak and his face was filled with hatred. "Grandpa, he took away my lightning feathers. I was almost killed. Grandpa, kill him. You must kill him." Long Zaitian stood below, clenched his fists and gritted his teeth as he roared. This time, not only was his physical body destroyed, but 2 of his lightning feathers were also taken away. To him, this was an invaluable treasure. The entire dragon race didn't have many lightning feathers. "I've sent someone to investigate. Wang Xian isn't as simple as he looks. The annihilation of the Ice Mountain race should be done by his people." A cold voice came from the illusory figure shrouded in purple gas on the stage. "After we figure out how strong he is, we'll kill him and all the people related to him." After a pause, the illusory figure continued. "Yes." The old man below nodded and walked out respectfully. "Recover your strength first. Don't ask about other things." The illusory figure shrouded in purple gas moved and said to Long Zaitian, "Yes, Grandpa." Long Zaitian opened his mouth but didn't ask further. He walked out with a sullen face. While the dragon race was searching for information about Wang Xian was flying quickly in the Milky Way with a smile. There were 2 pieces of good news. The Orochi had collected all the treasures and resources of the Ice Mountain race. He had also found buyers for all his battle pets. With the resources of the entire Ice Mountain race and the blazing turtle-winged beast, his strength would be enhanced. After my breakthrough with the corpses of the experts of the Ice Mountain race, the Dragon Palace will be comparable to a primary race in the universe. I can send the disciples of the Dragon Palace to the Milky Way to hunt wild beasts and enhance themselves quickly. Wang Xian murmured. With a wave of his arm, the Immortal Palace's battle pet ship appeared in front of him. He landed on it and flew towards the direction of the Wangyin mainland. At the same time, the reputation of the Immortal Palace's battle pet ship in the Milky Way had skyrocketed due to the sale of Peak Emperor God Battle Pet Ship. Peak Emperor God Battle Pet. What kind of concept was that? That was the realm of a peak domain-level race. Now, the Immortal Palace's battle pet ship was actually selling battle pets of such a level. This had never happened in the Milky Way for tens of millions of years, or even longer. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System will continue to be updated on the mobile game bar. There will be no advertisements on the website. Please collect and recommend the mobile game bar. Everyone who likes the Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System, please collect. Invincible Divine Dragon Cultivation System. Chapter 3078. Dragon Descendants Wanted List. Next, I didn't expect the Immortal Palace Battle Pets to be selling Peak Emperor God Battle Pets. Peak Emperor God Battle Pets are definitely top-notch battle pets in the Milky Way. They are much stronger than some subdragon mounts. What's the background of the Immortal Palace Battle Pets? They have been here for less than a year and they are already selling battle pets of this level. Which powerful clan is behind them? Which powerful clan? A few months ago, the Immortal Palace battle pets had already entered the sights of many people on the AI. There was an uproar when they saw the information on the sale of the new battle pets. A Peak Emperor God battle pet. This time, the 1-foot race was luckier and had the right to purchase this Peak Emperor God battle pet. Ha, Yen, not bad, not bad. You are fast this time. This battle pet belongs to us. At this moment, a dozen short figures were floating above the Milky Way in front of the Silver Moon mainland. An old man in the middle patted a girl's head and laughed. I'm just luckier. The girl smiled, her face filled with joy. Around them, some people were in awe when they saw the dozen people from the 1-foot race. Especially the short white-haired old man in the middle. He was one of the Peak Milky Way experts. They are here. At this moment, an expert from the 1-foot race smiled when he saw the ship. Let's go. The old man in the lead immediately flew over. The supremacies of the universe are here? Wang Xian stood on the ship of the Immortal Palace battle pets and smiled when he saw the people from the 1-foot race flying over. Half an hour later, the transaction was completed. Wang Xian had a large number of divine stones in his hands. He immediately entered the Silver Moon mainland to exchange the divine stones for resources. Phew. The purchase took 2 days. Wang Xian returned to the Dragon Palace in the Milky Way volcano region with a smile. Dragon Palace, we have exchanged some of the resources from the Ice Mountain race for elixirs, herbs, and fruits. Within the Dragon Palace, Yaki Devilish and the old man walked over with excitement. The Ice Mountain race was annihilated and all the resources were brought over. Wang Xian received the resources with excitement in his eyes. He had enough resources for a breakthrough. Back to the Dragon Palace. He said to Yamada no Devilsha and disappeared immediately. It's time to level up. Back at the Dragon King Hall of the main Dragon Palace, Wang Xian took out all the resources and devoured them immediately. A large number of elixirs were converted into dragon energy, rapidly accumulating to welcome the transformation. Clan leader, we didn't find any information about Wang Xian. He should have come from a faraway region. While Wang Xian was enhancing his strength, over a dozen old men were gathered in a study room located in the territory of the dragon descendants. An old man reported in a deep voice. An outsider? Issue a wanted order. Anyone who finds traces of Wang Xian must report to our dragon descendant race. After confirmation, you will be rewarded with a Peak Emperor God weapon. The patriarch of the dragon race, who was holding a strange beast bone in the middle, said faintly, Chief, we went to find the venerable of the dense fog race and asked him to help us lock on, but he refused. An old man at the side said, It's normal to refuse. It's not as simple as you think it is to be able to annihilate the Ice Mountain race. The dense fog race doesn't want to participate, but a powerful dragon can't suppress a local snake. Moreover, we are dragons. As long as he's still active in the Milky Way, we can annihilate him. The patriarch of the dragon descendant race held the beast bone in his hand and said faintly, full of confidence, I heard that Wang Xian has the strength of a Peak Emperor God. His speed is unpredictable. Leave it to me when the time comes. An old man on the right with a divine dragon tattoo on his face said. His face was completely covered by the divine dragon tattoo, making him look ferocious. Alright. The patriarch of the dragon descendant race nodded. No one in the Milky Way dares to go against us. Have you guys seen the message on the universe AI? The dragon descendant race has issued a wanted order. Anyone who finds Wang Xian will be rewarded with a Peak Emperor God weapon. That's too generous. Seems like Wang Xian has completely angered the dragon descendant race. A Peak Emperor God weapon. I reckon the one who will kill Wang Xian will be a venerable of the universe. That's for sure. Unless he hides in our Willow Deity dojo and venerable Willow Deity can protect him, as long as he's active in the Milky Way, he will definitely be eliminated. Junior brother Wang Xian isn't simple either. He's very mysterious and terrifyingly strong. You guys saw his speed in the Holy Kingdom of Gemini Divine Emperor. He's too fast. The dragon descendant race might not be able to eliminate him. It's hard to say. The dragon descendant race is a primary race that has been around for billions of years. They have a strong foundation. It shouldn't be a problem for them to eliminate a peak Emperor God expert. In Willow Deity Dojo, the disciples weren't too shocked when they saw the news. After all, Wang Xian had killed a peak Emperor God expert from the dragon descendant race. However, they were still shocked by the generosity of the dragon descendant race. Who wouldn't be tempted to get a peak Emperor God weapon just by reporting his location? The disciples of Willow Deity Dojo were discussing whether Wang Xian could be eliminated and how long he could last. Far away in the Ink Han Dynasty race ruins within the main dragon palace, a roar filled with dragon might shook the heavens and earth. In the Dragon King Palace, a 50,000-meter-long divine dragon with domineering radiance was coiled up. Looking from afar, it looked like a sacred and majestic mountain peak. Every dragon scale was like a piece of jade that was created by the heavens and earth, emitting radiance. Wang Xian slowly raised his head. Sacred and oppressive. Ding! Congratulations to host for leveling up to 5th Order God Emperor. Ding! Congratulations to host for comprehending the laws of Divine Dragon, Saint Dragon Shadow. Name, Wang Xian Race, Yin Yang 5 Elements Divine Dragon, one with the Dragon. Rank, 5th Order Void God Emperor, 8th Transformation of Divine Dragon Transformation, Origin Source. 1%, 99% required for next breakthrough, Sacred Ability. Dominate the Water Tribe, rule any water tribe that is lower than your own level, devour living beings. Devour living beings to extract origin source. 5 elements control cultivation technique. Divine Dragon Transformation Sacred Ability. Soul Capture, Spirit. Attachment Law of Divine Abilities. Dragon Eyes 8 Desolation. 5 elements Dragon Claw. Yin Yang World Destruction. 8 Luminaries Dragon Scale. Saint Dragon Shadow Laws of Existence. 5 elements Grindstone. Dragon Country in the Palm. Dragon Head Descending. 10,000 miles Dragon Body, Yin Yang 2 Poles, Yin Yang 5 Elements Bowl, Divine Dragon Tail Whip Laws of Existence Control, Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, Earth, Light, Dark, Wind God Nation, Dragon Palace Owned Dragon Palace, Level 9 Dragon Palace Members, 103445 I've made a breakthrough to the strength of a universe supremacy. This means that a divine dragon has stepped into adulthood. Wang Xian's dragon eyes flickered and a smile appeared on his face. The legend of an adult divine dragon had just begun. Chapter 3079, Remnants of Ink Han Dynasty, Universe Supremacies on, Congratulations on your breakthrough, Dragon King. Within the Dragon Palace, everyone could feel the pressure and aura coming from the Dragon King Hall. Excitement filled their eyes. Prime Minister Turtle and the other leaders flew over and knelt respectfully in the Dragon King Hall as they spoke with excitement. The eyes of the Fairy Dragon Tribe's Patriarch of Immortal Spirits Yuan and the elders were filled with excitement. The Dragon Palace had the combat power of a universe supremacy. This meant that the divine dragon bloodline of the Dragon Palace would not be bullied by anyone. Get up. Wang Xian smiled faintly as he transformed into his human form and sat on the dragon throne. He asked, "How's the progress of the leaders?" "Dragon King, Roving Heavens and the rest are improving. They will probably achieve a breakthrough in 10 days. Prime Minister Turtle reported. Great. Wang Xian nodded his head and instructed, "Get all the disciples to get ready. After they've leveled up, we'll settle all the problems around the ruins of the Ink Han Dynasty. In addition, Prime Minister Turtle, send some men to the Milky Way to make preparations for our Dragon Palace's entry." "Yes, Dragon King." Prime Minister Turtle nodded. "You're dismissed." Wang Xian waved his hand and spoke plainly to them. The leaders of the Dragon Palace retreated. Wang Xian closed his eyes and felt the improvement in his strength. Subsequently, he stood up and shook his body. A deep roar came from within his body as the shadow of a divine dragon appeared around him. The shadow of the divine dragon, which was fused with domineering radiance, looked a little pale. With just a thought, the shadow of the divine dragon enlarged immediately. This was the supernatural power of the law that Wang Xian had comprehended during his breakthrough, Saint Dragon Shadow. "Not bad. It's a very powerful attack," he murmured. With a flick of his palm, 2 lightning attribute sacred feathers appeared in his hands. These were the sacred feathers that he had obtained from Long Zidon. As he moved his palm, streams of dragon energy were nurtured. Swoosh! The unbeginning saint wings appeared behind him, and the 2 sacred feathers landed on them. Traces of lightning energy appeared on the sacred wings. However, the lightning energy was too weak. There are 49 wind attribute sacred feathers, and the lightning attribute sacred feathers should also have 49. I'm still lacking 47. If I gather all the lightning attribute sacred feathers, will I have 9 attributes? Wang Xian mumbled to himself. If he really had 9 attributes, what kind of changes would there be? Could his strength improve qualitatively again? I wonder how many lightning attribute sacred feathers the dragon descendants have. Wang Xian thought to himself. Opening the universe AI, he saw the dragon descendant races wanted poster and smiled. The dragon descendants might have existences stronger than him, but it would not be so easy to kill him. You want to kill me? I also want to destroy your dragon descendants. 3 races, let's start with you, he said in a low voice. Then he moved into the teleportation formation and was teleported to the Dragon Palace in the volcano domain. Then he flew toward the Willow Deity Dojo at a terrifying speed. Since he was about to start a war with the dragon descendants, he had to bring the heart deer into the Dragon Palace to ensure its safety. Boom boom boom. Just as Wang Xian left the Dragon Palace, in the ruins of the Ink Han clan. There were 18 continents in the ruins of the Ink Han clan, and the main continent was located in the center. Back then, Wang Xian and the rest had explored all the places in the ruins of the Ink Han clan and found a remnant fire seed of the Ink Han clan on the main continent. Back then, according to Wang Xian's information, there were 10 peak Emperor God experts in the remnant fire seed of the Ink Han clan, and their strength was terrifying. Because of this, Wang Xian did not explore the main continent of the Ink Han clan. However, Wang Xian and the rest did not pay too much attention to the existence of the remnant fire seed of the Ink Han clan. Based on his understanding, although there were many remnant fire seed of the Ink Han clan and they were strong, they were trapped in the main continent and could not get out. Unless a universe venerable level existence was born. However, on their continent, resources were scarce, and the chances of a universe venerable being born was very slim. Under such uncertain circumstances, the winds and clouds in the sky above the main continent were changing. In the city of vengeance of the remnant fire seed of the Ink Han clan, countless remnant fire seed of the Ink Han clan knelt on the ground. They were extremely excited, and their eyes were burning as they stared at the sky. Above them, an old man was floating in the sky. He spread his arms and exuded a terrifying aura. It was as though the entire world had changed color because of him. Behind him, lines of black words appeared. The words floated in the void and looked extraordinary. Ah, I've broken through. I've finally broken through. The Ink Han clan will rise again. Ha! A maniacal laughter came from his mouth, and the black words condensed into black skulls, spinning around him. His body was trembling with excitement. Congratulations on your breakthrough, clan leader. Congratulations on your breakthrough, clan leader. Rebuild the Ink Han clan, rebuild the prestige of the Ink Han clan, destroy the enemy, and reignite the glory of the Ink Han clan. Rebuild the Ink Han clan, rebuild the prestige of the Ink Han clan, destroy the enemy, and reignite the glory of the Ink Han clan. Everyone below knelt on the ground. They raised their heads and roared with crazed expressions. It had been more than 1 billion years. They carried the bloodline of the Ink Han clan and carried hatred as they endured hardships in this small mainland. Today was the day that the Ink Han clan regained its glory. It's been more than 1 billion years. It's been more than 1 billion years. The Ink Han clan is back, ha! The old man in the sky also roared with excitement. He raised his head and revealed his blood-red eyes. Elders, follow me out of this mainland and reclaim the territory that belongs to us. After a few seconds, he said slowly, yes. Down below, the 9 old men moved and immediately flew toward a mountain peak. They called that place the Recovery Peak. Once a clan member broke through to the universe supremacy realm, they would be able to open the array and teleport out. Buzz buzz buzz. 10 figures arrived at the recovery peak. The leader of the Inkhan clan was looking at the entrance in front of him with excitement. He waved his arm and landed on the peak. The deathly still array formation slowly blossomed with light. Buzz. He slowly stepped into the formation and disappeared. The other 9 figures followed closely behind him. In the next moment, they arrived in the sky above the sky-reaching tower. This is the ruins of our Inkhan clan? The 10 experts of the Inkhan clan stood on the sky-reaching tower and scanned the surroundings. Their eyes were shining with excitement. Clan leader, this used to be the territory of the Inkhan clan. Now, some of it is occupied by others and some of it is under chaotic restrictions. These restrictions are very strong and even universe supremacies might not be able to force their way in. An old man scanned the surroundings and said with a frown, "Let's reclaim our territory first." Chapter 3080. The Tower of Babel used to be the pagoda where the disciples of the Inkhan clan practiced their formations. It has been billions of years, but it has not been damaged at all. After all, the Inkhan clan had a few powerful ancestors back then. Even the powerhouses of the skeleton clan could not destroy our foundation. The position at the side should be the merit planet of the Inkhan clan. I didn't expect it to be occupied by a bunch of weaklings. The 10 of them stood on the Tower of Babel and lamented in their hearts. "Let's go down." The leader of the Inkhan clan moved and instantly appeared in the sky above the planet at the side. He looked down at the planet below him. The 9 elders immediately followed him. "The Inkhan clan is back. All of you, leave our planet immediately." An elder looked down, took a deep breath, and said expressionlessly. His voice spread across the entire planet below. What's going on? The Inkhan clan is back? What the fuck, what are they doing? The Inkhan clan has been extinct for billions of years. Are you crazy? Why are you pretending to be from the Inkhan clan? The abrupt voice caused everyone on the planet below to be filled with astonishment. They lifted their heads and looked up. Some of them looked at them as though they were idiots. People from the Inkhan clan? Didn't they know how long the Inkhan clan had been extinct? "I'll give you 5 seconds to leave our territory immediately." Some words entered their ears, and the eyes of the 10 of them were filled with a sinister look. The elder squinted his eyes and continued speaking. "For you, this is the territory of the Inkhan clan. If you dare to spout nonsense here, you'll have to watch your tongue." An elder flew out from the planet below and stared coldly at the 10 people who did not have any aura of powerhouses floating in the void. "Hee, the Inkhan clan? Interesting. Since you're not leaving, all of you can die." The elder of the Inkhan clan had a murderous look in his eyes. He waved his arm, and a black cloth strip appeared in the void. Below him, it instantly covered the entire planet below him. The cloth strip expanded at a terrifying speed. In just a few seconds, it covered the entire planet. "What's this? Oh no, that elder is a terrifying powerhouse." On the planet below, everyone's expression changed drastically as they roared in horror. No. Feeling the black cloth that was filled with death, everyone let out a roar of despair. Crush. However, the black cloth was like the Grim Reaper harvesting lives. It directly covered the entire planet, and a trace of blood slowly appeared on it. TSK, fresh blood. The black deity cloth robe hasn't absorbed fresh blood for over 1 billion years. These ants that dare to occupy the territory of our Inkhan clan are simply courting death. The elder of the remnant people of the Inkhan clan said coldly, "What? This? They actually killed everyone on the planets. What are they going to do? Are they enemies of the Heaven Sea Ho race?" When the surrounding experts saw the situation, their expressions changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with fear. "I'm warning all of you, I'm the clan leader of the Inkhan clan. From today onwards, the Inkhan clan will be established once again in this universe. Anyone who dares to scram from the territory of the Inkhan clan, otherwise die." The clan leader of the Inkhan clan scanned the surroundings with his sharp eyes, and his cold voice resounded through the void. Even though they were separated by a few dozen planets, they could still hear him clearly. What kind of existence is this? How can he transmit his voice so far? When everyone heard the voice, their faces were filled with shock. On a planet not far away, an expert from the Red Mist race saw the situation on that planet. His pupils shrank slightly, and his face was filled with shock as he moved and disappeared immediately. In the next moment, he appeared on a planet within the ruins of the Incan clan. This planet now belonged to the Red Mist race. However, the Red Mist race wasn't having an easy time. When the Red Mist race was established, they became a laughing stock. Now, they had been fighting with the Dragon Palace for more than a year and had been at a disadvantage. Many experts from the Red Mist race had even been assassinated by the Dragon Palace. Now, they were forced to hole up on the planet and didn't dare to come out. Even so, some of the experts from the Red Mist race had mysteriously disappeared. As a result, the Red Mist race was in a terrible situation, and their clan leader was often extremely furious. Now that a terrifying expert had appeared, and the other party claimed to be from the Incan clan, he had to report the situation immediately. After all, the planet they were currently on was once the territory of the Incan clan. If you don't leave immediately, then you can stay here forever. In the void, the 9 elders of the remnant people of the Incan dynasty scanned their surroundings. When they saw that some of the people on the planets were unmoved, they moved and immediately flew over. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the next moment, the entire world underwent a huge change. To everyone, it was a disaster. Oh no, their strength is terrifying. Run, run, run. Those 9 are peak Emperor God experts. We aren't their match. Some of the experts sensed their strength and immediately fled with faces full of fear. In an instant, the radius of tens of billions of kilometers was in complete chaos. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Who dares to kill the people of our Qianhai clan? Courting death. Soon, on the teleportation formation of a planet, tens of thousands of people were suddenly teleported over. Among them, an old man who was the leader was emitting a terrifying murderous aura. They swept their gazes around, and their gazes were filled with gloom. The moment they sensed that all the disciples' life plates were damaged, there were quite a number of Qianhai clan's elite disciples. A peak Emperor God expert immediately teleported over with his disciples. They were emitting terrifying murderous aura, courting death. Above, the patriarch of the Incan clan looked over with cold murderous aura. You are the ones courting death, he said indifferently. His body shook and pitch-black words appeared behind him. The words condensed into skeletons and charged towards Qianhai clan's 10,000 people. Ha! You are the one who killed our Qianhai clan's disciples? Qianhai clan's supreme elder sensed the movement above him. He immediately lifted his head and roared. However, when he saw the terrifying black skeletons charging over and sensed the terrifying murderous aura, his expression changed. Oh no, it's a universe supremacy. His face was filled with terror as he roared, wanting to escape immediately. Just as his body started to turn illusory and he was about to flee, the enormous black skeletons instantly flew out of their mouths. These skeletons opened their mouths and instantly landed on the experts of Qianhai clan. Even Supreme Elder Qianhai clan's Supreme Elder couldn't react in time. The terrifying skeletons started devouring them bit by bit and blood splattered everywhere. Chapter 3081. A remnant of the Incan dynasty, a venerable of the universe below, Cries of pain resounded around the Incan dynasty ruins. Qianhai Yun and the 10,000 experts were bitten by the black skeletons. Blood splattered everywhere. Their faces were filled with fear and despair. They looked at the figure in the sky in shock, their eyes filled with pleading. A universe venerable wasn't someone they could fight against at their level. A bunch of ants, how dare you occupy our territory and be arrogant in our Incan dynasty territory? Do you really think that just because we haven't appeared for billions of years, you can offend us? In the sky, the leader of the remnant tribe of the Incan dynasty looked coldly at the group of people who were screaming in fear. In the surroundings, experts from various forces and races were being chased by the 9 peak Emperor God experts of the Incan dynasty. They were frantically fleeing in all directions. Those who could flee back to their own god kingdom definitely wouldn't hesitate. At this moment, they were filled with fear. What was going on? Why did 10 terrifying experts suddenly appear? They claimed to be from the Ink Han Dynasty race. How was that possible? The Ink Han Dynasty race had been annihilated for billions of years. The people on the planets around the Ink Han Dynasty were fleeing. Very quickly, it caused a huge commotion around the Ink Han Dynasty ruins. Within a few hundred light years, many forces were active around the Ink Han Dynasty ruins. There were even many forces that rose because of the Ink Han Dynasty ruins. There were many races and domain-level forces gathered here. Now that such a huge commotion had happened, it caused a commotion among all the forces. Supreme Elder is dead. Our Supreme Elder is actually dead. In Qianhai Yun's domain-level land, at the place where the life tokens were kept, an old man shouted in shock. He moved and quickly flew outside. Very quickly, the news spread throughout the entire Qianhai Yun race. In Qianhai Yun's main hall, the tribe leader and all the experts were solemnly looking at the information on the universe's AI. At this moment, the universe's AI near the Ink Han Dynasty ruins shook. 9 peak Emperor God experts and 1 universe venerable's information made all the forces feel fear. They are the bloodline left behind by the Ink Han Dynasty race? In the middle of the main hall, Qianhai Yun race's tribe leader said. His expression changed drastically. The rest of the people didn't say anything. They couldn't believe this fact. If they really were the remnants of the Mo Han clan's bloodline, then the sky in this starry sky would change. Master, if they really have the bloodline left behind by the Ink Han clan, then now at this moment, no one was more terrified than the disciples of the Red Mist race. When they received the report from their disciples and saw the information on the universe intelligence computer, they felt their vision go black. This was simply bad news. Ever since the Red Mist race was established, all sorts of things had happened. Now, a person who was suspected to have the remnant bloodline of the Ink Han clan had appeared. They were a race that had been established based on the ruins of the Mo Han clan. Now that their master was here, wouldn't he be the first to kick them out? Coupled with the strength and cruelty displayed by the 10 experts, if they didn't leave this place, it was uncertain whether they could survive. Who? Emperor God Hong Tian closed his eyes as he leaned on the throne and exhaled weakly. He had built the Red Mist race with great ambitions, looking forward to the day when it could become a powerful race in the universe. However, from the beginning to the present, they had suffered setbacks everywhere. A dragon palace had made them cower and not dare to come out. Now, experts from the Ink Han clan had suddenly appeared. To him, this was bad news. Escape? He opened his eyes slowly and revealed a tinge of helplessness. Everything is because of the dragon palace. If not for them, soon, his eyes were filled with hatred and were filled with blood. Gather all the disciples and follow me outside. Emperor God Hong Tian had made a decision and said expressionlessly, Master, Upon hearing Emperor God Hong Tian's words, the 2 elders below were shocked. Don't worry, the other party has existences at the level of a universe venerable. They are not people we can offend. Submit to them and join them. Emperor God Hong Tian said indifferently without any change in his expression. The expressions of the 2 old men below changed slightly. Then they nodded and said, Yes, Master. We will immediately gather all the disciples. There weren't many disciples in the Red Mist race. There were only a few 100,000 of them. Such a small number was all thanks to the Dragon Palace. Soon, all the disciples gathered. They followed behind Emperor God Hong Tian in shock and teleported outside. As soon as they appeared outside, they smelled the scent of blood in the air. Boom! The next moment, a terrifying power engulfed them. Emperor God Hong Tian, who was at the front, narrowed his eyes and looked up at the figure above. Oh, there are some ignorant fools who are courting death? In the void not far away, the leader of the Ink Han clan revealed a smile when he saw the people from the Red Mist race suddenly teleporting over. There was fresh blood again. He realized that the outside world was simply too beautiful. If there was so much fresh blood on the core continent, his strength might have broken through a long time ago. Greetings, Lord. We are from the Red Mist race, a race that lives on the planet in the Ink Han clan's territory. When we heard that the Lord of the Ink Han clan has appeared and restored the glory of the Ink Han clan, we, the Red Mist race, are willing to be at your beck and call. We are willing to become the subsidiary of the Ink Han clan. Emperor God Hong Tian looked at the leader of the Ink Han clan and felt his dense murderous aura. The Red Mist race? Submit to us? The leader of the Ink Han clan burst into laughter when he heard them, and his face revealed a tinge of pride. Very good, very good. Submitting to the Ink Han clan is your best choice. Otherwise, if you dare to occupy our territory, what awaits you is death. He laughed wantonly and continued, with your strength, you will definitely be able to restore the glory of the Ink Han clan in the future. Emperor God Hong Tian said respectfully again. You are very tactful. Don't worry, there will be many benefits for you in the future. Come over and tell me everything about the starry sky of the Ink Han clan. The leader of the Ink Han clan said faintly. Emperor God Hong Tian dared not disobey. He immediately flew over and told all the forces around the Ink Han clan. The leader of the Ink Han clan squinted his eyes and listened quietly. Go and inform all the forces that after staying at the Ink Han clan for so long, our master is back. It's time for them to pay respects to our master. Finally, he squinted his eyes and instructed. Chapter 3082. The people from the Ink Han clan are back. They still have their bloodline. Universe Venerable Level Existence. The Ink Han clan wasn't completely wiped out. They still have Universe Venerable Level existences. They're back. The Red Mist clan has submitted to the Dragon Palace. Emperor God Hong Tian announced on the universe's AI that the clan leader of the Ink Han clan has ordered all the experts from the surrounding clans to pay their respects. Thus, the world has changed. The world is going to change. Just as the surrounding races were shaken by the news of the Mo Han family, another shocking piece of news arrived. The Red Mist clan, Emperor God Hong Tian had submitted to the experts from the Ink Han clan. The experts from the Ink Han clan had asked all forces to pay their respects. Looking at the news, all the experts' faces changed. They hesitated and decided to head over immediately. That was a universe supremacy level existence. It had been billions of years since they last appeared in this dimension. Such a terrifying existence could kill all of them with a slap. Unless they didn't want to stay in the starry sky anymore, they could only submit to the orders of such an expert. The leaders of the forces didn't hesitate and immediately flew towards the Ink Han clan ruins. The Ink Han clan ruins used to be the most prosperous place in the starry sky. All the clans had a teleportation formation to get there. In less than 2 hours, the leaders and experts of the forces had arrived. They scanned their surroundings and flew in the direction of the Tower of Babel. Everyone, please wait here. After all the forces have arrived, you can pay your respects to the clan leader and elders of the Ink Han clan. When the crowd arrived, Emperor God Hong Tian, who was floating in the air, looked at the experts and said, Red Mist clan leader, are they really from the Ink Han clan? The leader of the Pangshan race and a group of experts flew over. They looked at Emperor God Hong Tian and asked in astonishment. They are the experts from the Ink Han clan, the master of this place. Emperor God Hong Tian nodded. His words caused the leaders of the surrounding forces to change their faces. According to the information they received, the Ink Han clan used to be a very powerful and bloodthirsty clan. The number of small forces and living beings that they had destroyed was innumerable. They were fearful of a clan that used to be so brutal. As time passed, experts from different forces and races arrived. The Heaven Cao race is here. Not long after, the group from the Qianhai Raging Dragon race arrived. Seeing them, some of the factions whispered. They knew that not long ago, a large number of Qianhai's disciples were killed. A peak stage God Emperor Supreme Elder died in the hands of an expert with the remnant bloodline of the Mo Han clan. At this moment, the clan leader of the Qianhai Ru race and the group of powerful beings had extremely ugly expressions. The great elder had been killed, the disciples had been killed, but now they didn't dare to resist at all. They even had to come and pay their respects. This made them feel very humiliated. Alright, everyone is here. When Emperor God Hong Tian saw Qianhai race, Tianyan race, Ming Xuanji, Pangshan race and other powerful domain-level clans arriving, he immediately flew in after seeing the rest of the domain-level clans. The experts of the various forces followed closely behind. Emperor God Hong Tian waved his arm and a huge bridge appeared in front of him. Just like the Heavenly Avenue when the Red Mist race was first established, the road connected two stars. At the end of the road, an old man sat in the middle of a huge public square. 9 experts stood beside him as they looked at the incoming group. Greetings to the clan leader of the Mo Han clan. Greetings to the group of elders. Emperor God Hong Tian flew over and paid his respects. Greetings to the clan leader of the Mo Han clan. The experts of the other forces didn't dare to show any neglect as they immediately paid their respects. The clan leader of the Mo Han clan didn't say a word as he swept his gaze across the crowd. Are all of them here? After a few seconds of silence, the clan leader of the Mo Han clan asked. Clan leader of the Mo Han clan, other than the Dragon Palace, all the other forces are here. Emperor God Hong Tian replied respectfully. Those who are here, congratulations. Your lives are safe. In the future, all of you will submit to the Mo Han clan. Does anyone have any objections? The clan leader of the Mo Han clan said to them plainly. Upon hearing his words, the experts of the other forces were shocked but no one dared to speak. I don't like silence. The clan leader of the Mo Han clan revealed a cold gleam in his eyes when no one dared to refute him. As soon as he finished his sentence, he waved his arm and a pitch-black rope appeared in front of the clan leader of the Mo Han clan and the group of experts, entangling them instantly. Sir, we surrender. The Mo Han clan is willing to submit to you. The clan leader of the Mo Han clan revealed a horrified look when he saw the black rope entangling him instantly. He shouted hurriedly. I hate your aura. How dare you be so arrogant after occupying the planet of the Mo Han clan? I gave you a chance to redeem yourselves but you didn't cherish it. In that case, you shall die. The clan leader of the Mo Han clan said plainly as he clenched his fist. The black rope turned blood red instantly and absorbed the blood and energy in their bodies at a terrifying speed. No. Sir, please give us a chance. We are willing to submit. We are willing. Don't kill us. The clan leader of the Mo Han clan shrieked in horror. However, the shrieking didn't last long before it stopped abruptly. The clan leader of the Mo Han clan didn't have any change in his expression. The black rope turned into blood-red words and entered his body. Great Elder, bring a few people with you and let Hong Tian bring you to the Mo Han clan to exterminate them. The clan leader of the Mo Han clan said plainly. Yes. A few clan leaders nodded and looked at Emperor God Hong Tian. Yes. Emperor God Hong Tian's expression changed as he responded immediately. The Sky Yen clan is willing to submit to the Mo Han clan. We are willing to submit to Sir Venerable. We will be at your beck and call in the future. The experts from the Sky Yen clan saw the scene and their eyebrows twitched violently as they replied respectfully. The Mountain Piercing clan is willing to submit to the Mo Han clan and be led by the Mo Han clan. The Thousand Hand clan is willing to submit to the Mo Han clan. We will not hesitate to climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of flames. The experts from the various clans were filled with fear as they knelt on the ground and submitted to the Mo Han clan. A peak Emperor God expert was killed instantly without any resistance. Such a scene made them feel touched and terrified. Chapter 3083 Surrender. Those who don't surrender shall die. Below on a square of the Ink Han clan's territory planet, the atmosphere was dead silent. The experts from various races and clans knelt on the ground, not daring to move. In front of him, the Ink Han clan's clan leader sat there quietly with his eyes closed. The experts from various forces held their breaths. As time passed, the clan leader of the Ink Han clan didn't speak. No one else dared to speak either. Half an hour, 1 hour, an hour and a half later, the 4 elders from the Ink Han clan who had left with Emperor God Hong Tian returned, giving off an intense stench of blood. Clan leader, the Qianhaiao clan has been annihilated. An elder walked over and reported with a smile. He bared his teeth and looked extremely creepy. When the experts of the various races heard this, their bodies trembled violently. Annihilation, this was annihilation. By the side, Emperor God Hong Tian's face didn't look too good either. His face was a little pale. As the clan leader of the Red Mist clan, a peak Emperor God expert, he had lived for close to 100 million years. He had seen many annihilations, but this was the first time he had seen such a bloody annihilation. When a race annihilated another race, there was a 99% chance that they wouldn't kill the ordinary people. They wouldn't kill the weak people on purpose. However, the annihilation of the Ink Han clan was complete annihilation. Planet after planet was destroyed. Everyone on the planet was annihilated like ants. Even he couldn't get used to seeing billions of living beings being killed. Very well. If anyone wants to die, let them die. The clan leader of the Ink Han clan said faintly. He stood up slowly and looked forward. Get up. Thank you, clan leader of the Ink Han clan. When the crowd heard this, they slowly stood up. Hong Tian, you said that there's another force that hasn't arrived? He looked at Emperor God Hong Tian beside him and asked indifferently, My lord, there's a force called Dragon Palace. Emperor God Hong Tian's eyes lit up when he heard the clan leader of the Ink Han clan. My lord, the Dragon Palace is not simple. They have the bloodline of the Divine Dragon, and it is suspected that there is a pure-blooded Divine Dragon in the Dragon Palace. Back then, many forces wanted to capture the Divine Dragon of the Dragon Palace, but were stopped by them. Moreover, they have powerful killers. Currently, 90% of the Dragon Palace is located in the mainland of your domain. We can't do anything about their lair there. Emperor God Hong Tian continued, his eyes flickering. Divine Dragon bloodline? A purebred Divine Dragon? The clan leader of the Ink Han dynasty narrowed his eyes slightly. Sir, if we can destroy the Dragon Palace, we can obtain a great amount of resources. If we can capture them and tame them as battle pets, they will be even more valuable. Furthermore, according to our speculations, the Dragon Palace should have obtained the powerful inheritance of the Divine Dragon. God Emperor Hong Tian added. Really? The clan leader of the Ink Han clan narrowed his eyes and looked at the experts from the other forces. My lord, what Emperor God Hong Tian said is true. The Dragon Palace is indeed strange. They improve very quickly, and it is highly possible that there is a real dragon in there. Seeing the gaze of the clan leader of the Ink Han dynasty, the experts from other races immediately echoed. In particular, the soul-living race and brain-spirit race had a tinge of hatred and excitement in their eyes. Once the experts from the Ink Han dynasty set their sights on the Dragon Palace, where could the Dragon Palace escape to? The lair of the Dragon Palace was also the mainland of the Ink Han dynasty's domain. In other words, the Dragon Palace was in their home. Wouldn't it be very easy for their master to kill them? Interesting. A divine dragon's bloodline, a lesser dragon. This is very valuable. Dragon blood is extremely beneficial to cultivation. An elder beside the clan leader of the Ink Han dynasty squinted his eyes slightly and said excitedly, It seems like we are in luck. The eyes of the elders beside him lit up and they said excitedly, Divine dragon bloodline, alternative dragon. Even if they were isolated on the mainland, they knew the value of it. In particular, some of their cultivation was related to the bloodline and blood. Interesting. They placed their foundation in the territory of the Ink Han dynasty. Ha! The leader of the Ink Han clan laughed and his eyes lit up. It's just as well. The Ink Han clan is back on the stage of the universe and we lack a lot of resources. If the Dragon Palace really has a half-dragon or a divine dragon, it would be a great opportunity for the Ink Han clan. Clan leader, the closer we get to the interior of the Ink Han dynasty's domain, the messier the formation is. I'm afraid it will be difficult to enter. Emperor God Hong Tian reminded him. To you, all the planets and continents are the territory of the Ink Han dynasty. It will naturally be very easy for us to enter. Let's go. Today, I want to see if the Dragon Palace is as you said. The clan leader of the Ink Han dynasty grinned and swept his gaze across all of them. The experts from the various forces nodded and immediately followed behind. Buzz. The clan leader of the Ink Han dynasty moved his palm and 18 spheres appeared in his hand. The sphere in the center was glowing while the other 17 were dim. With his current strength as a universe venerable, he could light up the other 17 spheres. He waved his palm and landed on one of the spheres. The sphere gradually glowed. Buzz buzz. A black hole appeared in front of him. His lips curled into a smile as he walked straight ahead. The group of elders immediately followed behind. Emperor God Hong Tian and the rest also followed closely behind. They stepped into the black hole and appeared in the sky above a continent. The entire continent looked barren and dilapidated without any signs of life. "It's not here," the clan leader of the Ink Han dynasty said plainly as he placed his palm on the second sphere. The sphere glowed. Behind them, a group of experts from various forces followed quietly. But very quickly, they sensed an emergency message from the universe AI. They opened it, and when they saw the content, their pupils shrank and their eyes were filled with shock. The message was about the Qianhai Ho race. It showed that the entire Qianhai Ho race had hundreds of billions of people wiped out. Even the weak women and children were not spared. More than half of the Qianhai Ho race's planet was destroyed. Bloody and brutal. When they saw the message, they felt a tinge of fear in their hearts. Such a true genocide was rare and bloody and brutal. I didn't expect their genocide to be so brutal. A powerful domain-level race in this starry sky was wiped out just like that. I'm afraid the Dragon Palace is in danger. They might become slaves. That's the best outcome for the Dragon Palace. The experts from the various races exchanged glances and were filled with shock. The Dragon Palace's ending would be tragic. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.